At the weekend, I had my first attempt at organising a bike race, a cyclocross race for round 1 of the Leicestershire Cyclocross League. I was organising with Alastair and the help of Leicester Cycling Club, with the support of the rest of the Leicestershire League Committee and Ride Leicester. I thought I'd vlog the weekend to show you what I got up to and how it went. I didn't get that much footage because I was far too busy, but this is what I got up to. It doesn't include any of the other prep that I did for the race, such as venue hire, sorting out toilets, catering, that kind of thing, and sorting out a volunteer rota. Leicestershire League races are on a Sunday, so on the Saturday afternoon at 12:30, I got to the park to find out most of the top field had already been staked out by volunteers who had got there early. This year my club, Leicester Forest, held the cyclocross race at Weston Park, which had previously been held by Gary at Leicester Road Club. And therefore we kind of copied his course, which was always a wonderful course to ride. I've ridden it every year since it's been there and absolutely loved it. I helped set up the course, mostly by explaining to people where the course went and letting them set it up, and then moving on to speak to someone else about the next bit of the course. From what I've been told, compared to previous years and previous venues that Leicester Forest had, this was really easy to set up, and by 4:30 we were done. However, when we went to collect the leftover stakes from the other field that the race went into, a lot of the tape in that field had already been ripped by locals and dog walkers. So we had a lot of work left to do on the Sunday morning. We had overnight security from 6 p.m, so between 4:30 and 6 I waited around riding the course because unfortunately I'd be too busy organising to ride on the race day. This is the Weston Park 2025 course preview. Let's go! This was the starting straight, the same as previous years, and we'd taped some of it off already, so that's why I had to go under it. I continued around the course and then my phone rang. It was the toilet hire people saying they'd been delayed right at the entrance to the park. Some bits of the course have varied in the past few years, so this bit going down the hill and then back up sometimes was 1 up and down and sometimes was 2. This year we went for 1 and then straight up the hill with the hurdles. The hurdles were taped off because they wouldn't be used in the under 12 race, which also came this way, and the commissaires on the day decided we'd bypass it for the first lap of every other race. This is the main field of the course where the under 9s and under 12s race completely and the race headquarters is, and then it's time for Into the Woods. This course had very little ground prep apart from raking all the leaves off the track and spray painting the routes. The course is mostly grass with bits of woodland thrown in, including this short section which I really enjoy. And this is the same section but with the camera facing forward. The section to the next woods is very narrow with these 2 trees and lots of roots, and whilst I've raced through it in the past riding it, this time I just stopped and manoeuvred my way around it. I also tested the course the week before the race to see what needed doing, and there was a fallen tree in this woods but then it had been moved. This was the second field that the course goes into, with the sections of woods and general track between the 2 fields. And as you can see, between setting up and collecting the leftover stakes, a lot of the tape had come down. This bump after the gap in the hedge was a new addition to the course last year, which we decided to keep in. We hadn't taped across the main access paths in the park, but alongside the edge of them, and it still all got ripped down. Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I'm not racing, I've been organising, so setting it all out and then...
Okay, are you the organiser then?
One of them, yeah.
Well done. Good effort.
Thanks. Yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. Then one last section of woods before it's back into the main field. And this is where the finish line usually is. The toilets were also dropped off at 5:30 while I was waiting for security. Security arrived at 6 and then I had a quick ride home. On Sunday morning it was an early start with some strawberries and yoghurt for breakfast and then packing my lunchbox and my bag. We decided it probably wasn't best to cycle in such fog, so I got dropped off at 7 o'clock in the morning. I was the first one there and it was very foggy. Once we had some additional tape and some willing volunteers to help set up the other half of the course, I waited around for the other people to arrive, such as Specialised who were looking at advertising some of their bikes and providing some kids' prizes, as well as the caterers and people like that. At 8 o'clock I did the walk around the course with the commissaires so they could check that they were happy with it, and they sorted out the pits and showed us the required length for the pits based on the number of riders roughly, and then taped off some of the other bits that we'd missed because we were so focused on this is the way we're going, and we didn't realise there were other bits that needed taping off where you could potentially go the wrong way. And by the time I had finished the course walk, everything else was set up at Race HQ with additional gazebos. We had the Let's Ride inflatable and the caterers were all set up and ready. I then had to talk to all the volunteers that we had marshalling, get them into position so we could all open the course for the under 9s and under 12s to practice. We had enough volunteers that I didn't have to marshal in the morning, which meant I could float around checking that everybody was in the right place, had no issues, and I could watch the start of each race. In the afternoon I had to marshal because we didn't quite have enough marshals for the whole course, mainly because parents wanted to go home after the children's race after volunteering for a morning, for example, and we also had a couple of riders who had volunteered in the morning that wanted to race, which again is fine. So this is the bit I watched, and I just had to keep an eye on it and make sure if someone rode into the tape, I then fixed it. So I saw quite a couple of crashes on this bit where they were sliding out. I also had some lunch while I was marshalling. And then at 3:30, once the last race had finished, after some really good racing, I don't usually watch the seniors race, so it was really exciting to watch. We got packed up. Our intention was pack everything up that the club owned and take it back to the container, whilst everyone else packed up the rest, and then we'd have a whole pile of stuff to reload the van and take that to the Leicestershire League container on the Monday morning. And it's almost like we were never there. We had finished packing up by 5:30, so then I had a quick ride home, had a croissant to eat, and then a nice relaxing bubble bath before having some spaghetti bolognese for tea. And in the evening I sent some thank you emails to everyone who had volunteered and helped. Overall, I'd say the race was a success. I quite enjoyed organising, it wasn't too bad. And the advice and support I got was really appreciated and really helpful. So thank you to everyone who helped make it possible. And it's time for me to race next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.